You're listening to CFRN, the Christian Financial Radio Network.
Good afternoon, traders, and welcome back to the CFRN E-mini Futures Cast. This is the daily broadcast of Indeterminate Length, where we discuss all things E-mini, along with some really big ideas on the finer points of trading gold, bonds, crude, sugar, the euro. Joining us today, Mr. Michael Borth. From our trading desk in Chicago, Mr. Burton Schlichter. Now, to get things started, let's go to our host and founder in Studio A, overlooking South Mountain, America's largest city park. Here's Dwayne.
Good afternoon. Welcome back. Today is Wednesday, Fed Day, 13th day of December, 2023. Thanks so much for joining us, wherever you are, wherever you are. We're just glad to have you right here, right now. This is our second live broadcast of the day. First live broadcast is our live training room. That's reserved for members only and those who are taking their 1 week free trial. If you haven't taken your 1 week free trial, go to mytradingiq.com. At the very top of the page, there's a link that says 5-day free trial. Click the link, complete the registration form. We'll then get your desktop set up, get your indicators indicating, and the following day, your trial will begin. So you get 5 days, even if it stretches over a weekend. So don't worry about what day of the week or weekend or hour of the day that you actually sign up for the trial. Regardless of when you sign up, you'll get 5 trading days with access not only to the live training room, but every resource that our lifetime members have access to. There's no credit card required. This is designed so that you can experience the full CFRN experience. And at the end of the 5-day trial, you can make a well-informed, intelligent decision as to whether or not trading is right for you. Now, when the live training room ends each day, we take a 30-minute break, and we come back at 12 noon Eastern for the afternoon broadcast. This broadcast, running a little late today due to some technical difficulties, but here we are. Now, there's 2 different ways to join this afternoon broadcast live. Best way, go to mytradingiq.com, scroll down to where it says afternoon broadcast. Click the link, complete that 30-second registration form, and you're done. Not only will that get you into the broadcast today, but going forward, every trading day, you'll get an email about an hour before this broadcast starts. So at 12 noon Eastern, all you have to do is click the link in that email, and it automatically logs you into our platform. The benefit of that is you have access to the question box, so you can ask questions and participate in the discussion. Now, there will be days you're out of the office, away from the desktop, but you still want to join live. You can. Also, there will be days when you're busy, can't join live, but would like to check it out later. You can. I'm talking about our YouTube channel, youtube.com/CFRN. youtube.com/CFRN. It's easy to remember because you already know the YouTube part. So just remember CFRN. Not only do we broadcast live every trading day on our YouTube channel, but we also archive each and every daily broadcast. Currently, there are over 2,300 daily episodes archived for your educational viewing pleasure. So with that said, let's get going. course, today is Fed Day. Things are pretty quiet, pretty sideways. This afternoon, from 2 o'clock till well after the press conference ends, my best recommendation is be flat, okay? All right. Our daily devotional is the Apostles' Creed. We started it last week. We're now on day 8. Our scripture today is Hebrews chapter 9, verses 27 through 28. And I'll share with you from the Message translation. Everyone has to die once, then face the consequences. Christ's death was also a one-time event, but it was a sacrifice that took care of sins forever. And so when he next appears, the outcome for those eager to greet him is precisely salvation. Again, that was Hebrews 9, verses 27 through 28. Christians in our culture seem to forget or neglect the fact that Jesus not only rose from the dead and ascended to heaven, but is also coming back. When kept in our hearts and minds, Jesus' return will transform our daily lives. He will return. When he returns, everyone will give an account for their lives and for their response to the gospel. Or as the Creed puts it, he shall come to judge the living and the dead. Only a handful of disciples witnessed the Lord ascend to heaven. His birth was even less conspicuous. Even with a sky full of angels singing, only Mary, Joseph, and a few shepherds witnessed Jesus' coming into the world. However, his second coming will be unlike his first. Although it hasn't happened yet, the second coming of Jesus is just as certain as his first coming. The question to ask yourself isn't whether he will return, because he will. The question to ask yourself isn't even a matter of when he will return, because we can't know. The only question you need to ask yourself is whether you're ready to stand before him when he returns to judge the living and the dead. Most of the time, we don't like to think about God's judgment unless we're seeking comfort in the fact that God will judge blatantly wicked people. We prefer to dwell on the God who so loved the world that he gave his only Son. The grace of God through the sacrificial death of Jesus is indeed unique among major religions throughout all history. It's also because God is holy and good that he judges sins with incredible wrath. The gospel is good news because without faith in Jesus, we would all rightfully receive the punishment we deserve for our sin. For those who belong to Christ, though, he has taken the punishment of death and God's wrath on himself. But for those who haven't placed their faith in Jesus, refusing to bow their knee to him as Lord, they'll receive the judgment they're due. The good news is you have heard the good news. Join me in a word of prayer. Heavenly Father, as we come before you in prayer, our hearts are drawn to this profound truth in Hebrews 9. Lord, we acknowledge the certainty of death and the assurance of judgment, and we stand in awe of the redemptive work accomplished through your Son, Jesus Christ. Thank you, Lord, for the precious gift of salvation through the sacrifice of Jesus. By his death on the cross, he bore the weight of our sins, offering a perfect and eternal redemption. We are grateful for the hope we have in his resurrection, knowing that he will return to bring salvation to those who eagerly await him. In moments of reflection on our mortality and the reality of judgment, may we find comfort and assurance in the finished work of Jesus. Help us to live with a sense of purpose, knowing that our lives are intricately woven into your redemptive plan. Lord, grant us the wisdom to live in readiness for the day of your return. May our lives be a reflection of the transformative power of your grace, and may we eagerly anticipate the fulfillment of our hope in Christ. It's in Jesus' name, believe and pray. Everybody said, amen. Amen. Well, happy Wednesday. Happy Fed Day. Whatever that means. We'll know starting at 2 o'clock this afternoon. And the fireworks will continue probably till about 3:15 Eastern. So, again, be careful out there. Market's incredibly quiet overnight. The Dow currently is basically unchanged. The NASDAQ is up 9 points. Take that, 8 points. S&P 500 up 3.5. The Russell 2000 down 1.5. That's some pretty thin trade. In the commodity basket, crude oil up 88 cents, trading 69.49 last. That's a gain of just over 1.25%. Gold up $4.90, trading 19.9810 last. Silver down a dime, trading 22.92 last. In the Asian markets at the close, Nikkei posted a gain of 82 points. Shanghai dropped 34. The Hang Seng fell 145, almost 1%. And in the European markets at the close, FTSE up 5, the DAX down 26, CAC down 12. So that gave us a mixed day in Asia, mixed day in the UK, and at the moment, it's a mixed Radio Wednesday here in the US of A. So with that, let's go to Logic 247. We are currently in week 280. Over the last 280 weeks, we've issued over 15,600 individual handcrafted alerts. And over those 280 weeks, we've averaged 20% or less of the alerts being stopped out based on market structure and a very simple process that I teach all of our lifetime members in their unlimited one-on-one mentoring sessions. Now, as you can see, this recap is valid through 10:15 p.m. Eastern last night. which means it was a pretty quiet overnight session. Now, some of these have resolved themselves. I think I only put out 2 additional alerts this morning. Nothing looks good to me until after we get this Fed announcement behind us. But as of the most recent recap, since the markets opened Sunday night at 6 p.m. Eastern, we issued a total of 22 alerts. 1 never triggered. At the time of the recap, we were still waiting on 6. They gave us 15 actionable alerts, of which 5, or 33%, would have been stopped out based on the risk profile I just mentioned. Now, as bad as that might sound, 33%, Monday morning we were at 100% stopped out. Yesterday it came down to 45%, and as of the recap last night, it dropped to 33%. By the end of the week, based on history and the last 280 weeks, we anticipate that this number will be at 20% or less. Now, the logic alerts are based on current price action, but there's time built into each alert for you to go and study the 30-minute chart, see the window of opportunity that it represents, and then be prepared to take action when price reaches that area, using everything that Michael teaches you each morning in the live training room. Along with the logic alerts, and they're not just the E-minis, it's also crude and gold and silver, the euro, bonds. We still have our original alert service, the concierge trade alerts. Now, they're a little bit different in a couple different ways. Number one, they don't come out around the clock. See, the logic alerts can come out at 2 a.m. or 2 p.m. when opportunity presents itself, because futures trade around the clock and we have traders around the globe. The CTAs are posted as a static report shortly after the Globex open. So last night, the Wednesday session began at 6 p.m. Eastern, and I published these targets 10 minutes after the open. Now, because this broadcast is open to the public, if you want to grab a screenshot, you can. If you're watching after the fact on our YouTube channel, just hit pause and jot down whatever targets would be important to you based on whatever markets you trade. Now, what do you do when the report comes out? First thing you do, we use the ES as an example. Go to your 30-minute chart, make note of where price is at this time. Then draw a line in the sand at the long target, draw a line in the sand at the short target. They will serve as great visual cues to help you stay on the right side of the street. If price gets above the 30-minute BBC, it is attempting to reach the long target. Price gets below the 30-minute BBC, it's attempting to reach the short target. It's pretty simple. Now, the BBC is the green line you'll see on my charts. Stands for bull, bear, cross. No matter what market or time frame you're in, if price gets above the green line, then we're bullish and anticipate higher prices. Price gets below the green line, we're bearish and anticipate lower prices. Now, on the logic alerts, there are typically multiple targets. First target is designed to help you get your goal for the day. And then by looking left at previous swing highs and swing lows, I establish the additional targets. The alerts are not published so that you can just trade those and not have to worry about actually learning how to trade. They're designed to help you learn how to trade. So use them in the manner that they're intended. Now the CTAs, you get to look left yourself. It's part of the progression of learning how to trade. You're looking left to spot previous swing highs and lows that can become current resistance or support. And you have to learn how price behaves at a weekly trading zone. It's important because price is always trying to reach a weekly trading zone. From the time the markets open Sunday night till they close Friday afternoon, if price is above the 30-minute BBC, it's trying to get to the zone overhead. If price is below the 30-minute BBC, it's trying to get to the zone below. We've published the zones since December 14th of 2009. They come out Monday morning at 6:15 a.m. Eastern. And once they're published Monday morning, they're carved in stone the entire week. They don't change in any way whatsoever. Even an awkward week like this, where we typically wouldn't roll forward until Friday, because the volume in the new contract has increased substantially, we've already rolled the indices forward to the H contract, but the weekly zones remain the same. As long as you know which way the wind's blowing, it's pretty simple to reach your goal for the day. So let's go take a look first at the daily chart. Why the daily chart? Institutional traders, the ones who actually move price because of their account size, they look at daily, weekly, and monthly charts the way you and I look at 30-minute charts, 5-minute charts, tick charts, and range charts. As you can see, I've rolled this forward to the H contract. I've adjusted the fibs accordingly. And this is still the high of July 27th. And our next major resistance, see how we have these 3 candles right here that basically have the same high? That's our next major resistance prior to getting to the high of July 27th. We're above the BBC. We've got price, step line, blue and climbing. I call that the perfect stack. It's a good time to be long. Now, most people don't trade the daily chart. I don't either. You may not trade the S&P. Doesn't matter. Price flows the same across all markets and all time frames. So whatever you do trade, whether it's a different futures contract, or a stock, or a crypto, a forex pair, an ETF, if you'll spend just 2 minutes at the beginning of your session, the daily chart of what you're going to trade, it will give you great insight as to what the deep pockets are doing. Now, earlier they attempted to move higher, but now we've got a little doji sitting up here. When the Fed announcement comes out, we should see probably tremendous movement to the downside, to the upside, back to the downside, back to the upside. And when the dust settles, we're often right back where we were when the announcement came out. So that's why the safest place to be is flat. Now, all of the alerts, both the logic alerts and the concierge trade alerts, are based on the 30-minute chart. The vertical line separates today, Wednesday, Tuesday, back over here is Monday, okay? This is the highest weekly trading zone for the week. Now, again, these zones were published for the Z contract, but we've rolled to H, but the zones remain the same. Here's where we opened last night. This was the opening candle. So 10 minutes into that candle, the CTAs were published. Now, this candle opened at 4,700 and a half and ran up to 4704 and a quarter. Then we started to move sideways. Okay, this sideways move trapped us between potential resistance overhead and support below. So price waddled sideways till right here, the London Open. We get a little pop, and then we go right back into that sideways consolidation. And then here, pull back to the VVC. Here's 8 o'clock. Here's 8:30, where I believe we had some news that came out. And let's say you waited for price to clear all of these highs. So you're getting in somewhere like 4706. We ran up to 4709 and a quarter. So that, again, not getting in at the open, but waiting for price to overcome these previous highs. There was an opportunity to get your goal for the day. Then price poked below the VVC, but it never pulled away. Now, right now, this candle is pulling away. So, in this case, the pullback held because the candle never let go of the VVC, the green line. Then at 10 o'clock, we may have had some news at 10. I'm not sure, but it pushed us up again to 4708 and a half. So this high was 09 and a quarter. This high was 08 and a half. This candle continued up to 4708.75. Didn't quite make it all the way to the target. It gave you plenty of opportunity to get your goal for the day. Now we're below the VVC. So what we need to do is be patient and see if price can break this support area right here at that swing low. If it can, then the next area for potential support is here, then here, and then bullish cross that led to the extended move. First time price revisits that area, we expect that to be good support, at least the first time down. Same is true of a bearish cross, just in the opposite direction. So that's where we stand on the ESH 24. On the Dow, here's where we opened. Price is trapped. We get this one little candle here that runs from 37.015 to 37.034. Takes 20 points to get your goal for the day. And then just more congestion. This is not good trading right here, okay? This is best leave alone trading. I like the ES. So we poked up to 37.051, and then we dropped. We got below the zone. Now you'll notice as we sliced through that zone on the 30-minute chart, price pulled back to the zone, it sliced through, continued in the direction of the slice. Okay, so you got a little double bottom here. When the market finds support, it's going to go look for resistance. This is resistance times 2. Weekly trading zone and the BBC. Now, the step line just crossed red and falling, so price is going to attempt to pull back up. Again, when the Fed announcement comes out, all of this, that's a fundamental thing, and we're technical traders. So, that's why I recommend that you put the mouse in the drawer until all of the hysterics resolve themselves. See, when price rises to a zone, we expect resistance. We spiked it with this 30-minute candle, but by the time the 30-minute candle closed, back below, continued lower, down to here, and then we creeped back above the highest weekly zone for the week, and now we're currently below the highest zone. On the Russell, that's about as flat a market as you could ever see. This candle right here opened at 1901.90, and we dropped to 1895.60. So there was room. See, this candle opened below the BBC. So from 1901.90 to the low, 1895.60. So we missed hitting the short target by 6 ticks. Okay. On the NQ, which we've also rolled. Now this is the highest weekly trading zone for the NQ. But by close of business on Friday, we expect price to be at or below the highest weekly zone. Now, we've published the zone since December 14th of 2009, so have there been weeks where we've had markets where price closed above the highest zone or below the lowest zone? Yes, a handful of times, maybe 2 handfuls of times, because it's been a long time since we started publishing. So right now, we did hit the long target. Now we're coming back down to the highest zone. We expect resistance on the way up, cruised through it, pulled back, continued sideways. And so now we're looking to see if this will be support. Price trades below the zone. And you got potential support here, 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 here. And before you know it, you're at the short target. Okay. Crude oil. Now, we rolled crude some time ago. So we opened last night right at the weekly zone. We got below blue and climbing, which is potential support. And this candle took us all the way down to the short target. We opened at 62 and dropped to 25. So that's roughly $300 per contract traded to the target. We went a little further. We went all the way down to 68.12. A 10-tick move's worth $100. Okay, that's your goal for the day. When the market finds support, it'll go look for resistance, which it found at the zone. When the market finds resistance, it'll look for support. And on crude, you would have to go all the way back to June 28th to find the reason for this support. Support is now going to send the market looking for resistance. We hit the BBC, pulled back, hit it again, got through it, straddled it, and then we made a run. See, this candle opened above the BBC. It opened at 68.55, ran up to 60.80. So that's one candle's $250 per contract traded. So resistance, resistance, resistance. Then we finally close above the zone. And we get a move up. Now that swing high right there. You'll notice that area of resistance was defined yesterday. Resistance will send us looking for support, which we found at the zone and the BBC. That's support times 2. And that sent us up to resistance at the zone. The step line has crossed to the right side, blue and climbing. So we may have one last gasp, but we'll probably come back to the BBC. And whether it holds a support or not, we have to wait and see. Gold. Here's where we opened, pulled up to resistance below the BBC. Price was trapped here. We get resistance, we get below the BBC, it turns to red and falling, and we work our way down to the target and below. And again, go left, you'll find out where price stopped here. So this candle opened at 95.3, we'll just call it 95. So down to 92, that's $300 per contract traded. Market found support, now it's got to go look for resistance. Okay, here's a bearish cross. When you have a bearish cross, red line drops below the green line. That leads to an extended move. First time price revisits the area of that bearish cross will almost always be good resistance the first time up. First time up, second time up. That held. Back to the BBC, more sideways consolidation. This candle is trying to close above red and falling. But you've got potential resistance here, 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 here. I wouldn't trade this long until price got to 2003. And then I would trade it to 2005. That would be $200 per contract traded. Michael should be here any second. Silver. Here's where we opened. Pulled up to the BBC. Resistance. Got below blue and climbing. Dropped to the zone. Dropped to the target. Pulled back to the BBC. Dropped again. Back to the BBC. Dropped again. Remember, whenever the market finds support, it's going to go look for resistance. And so we've got resistance here at the zone. That sends price all the way down. See, this candle opened at 22.94. And we dropped 22.78. 94 to 78. 2 pennies is $100. So then we pull back to the BBC. Step line crosses red and falling. It looks like price is going to attempt to go back to the zone. Question is can it overcome it? If it does, it has to overcome this swing high, this high, this high. There's plenty of room to get your goal for the day because it only takes 2 pennies. And on the euro, we roll that forward to the H contract as well. Here's where we opened. Ran right into resistance. Back to support. We finally dropped through support. Then we got to this low, which is equal to this low. We pull back to resistance. Drop to support. Back to resistance. Back to support. We didn't quite make it all the way to the zone. And we get above the BBC, we find resistance at the zone. Price tried to reach up to the target, but buyers just weren't committed enough. So now we're back below BBC, and this low, got to take out this low right here on this candle, and then you can trade that down. There he is.
Here I am. Sorry, this thing has just been slow to start up for GoToWebinar.
No problem.
All right, I'm ready now. Ready?
Ready.
Okay. All right, here we go.
Looks good.
So, good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon, everyone. Today is Wednesday, the 13th day of December, 2023. Now, if you have not taken a free trial, then go here to mytradingiq.com, and right here, just click on this button. Sign up for your free 5-day training. Now, 9:15 to 11:30 is when we do it. When you click on that button, you will be brought to this registration page. And on this page, all that we ask for is your first name, your last name, and your phone number. And we ask you to fill out this little form here, right? It's just a bunch of drop-down boxes. Just fill it out honestly. Just fill it out honestly. And down here in the bottom, if you have TradingView, give us a TradingView username or login ID. And if you have NinjaTrader, give us your machine ID. Hit the register button, and you'll be registered and sent an email that tells you how to get into the room in the morning and all of that good stuff. Now, if you're going to sign up for the free trial, you should also go here to the trade rules page and take a look at this, right? These are the rules for the trade setups. All of the trades that I'm going to show you right now. There weren't that many this morning. The markets have been really sideways. I'm sure Lane has probably already gone into the FOMC and all that. The markets have been really sideways today. Not a lot of follow through on anything. So there weren't a lot of trades this morning. We did get the goal for the day, but probably just check out these rules. And then also, already have a trading platform. The one that I trade on is DT Pro, and the one that I chart on is TradingView, right? You want to get both of those platforms or NinjaTrader. NinjaTrader is also down there at the bottom of this page. Any one of those platforms, if you want to get access to that, follow the instructions on the page, okay? And we'll get you access to one or all of those platforms, okay? Check out the videos page right here, and you'll see some videos of what I do in the room in the morning. Now, this stuff is on a much smaller time frame than you're used to seeing if you're like a swing trader or anything like that. But stuff is scalable. Everything that we do is scalable. So you see me doing some stuff here in really small time frames, moving pretty quickly. But all that stuff is scalable. All right. All right. So right now. There's not really a whole lot to say about today. We did get the goal for the day. I think it took 20-something minutes today. Here's today, right? 37 minutes today. If you're the spreadsheet, you have to read all the CFTC risk disclosures down. Today's the 13th day of December, 2023. Today we made 9 ticks on, it was actually the YM we made 9 ticks on. 1 tick in crude, 5 ticks in gold. And we didn't trade the ES today. So we ended up with $105 a contract. These are some small numbers so far this month. And look, the NQ, when we could trade the NQ, we had a pretty good day. But this past week, we haven't really been able to do much with the NQ or anything on the CME for that matter. The YM is not on the CME. Crude oil and gold are not on the CME. So anything that's on the CME, the ES, the Russell, the NQ, we haven't been able to trade much of those this week, sadly. Hopefully they'll get that straightened out. They are working on it constantly. But I would say stay away from the CME stuff until they say it's okay to go back to the CME stuff. Today it took 37 minutes and 4 trades to get to the goal for the day. At that point, with 12 contracts, we're up $1,260, and we took a total of 7 trades. So on the month now, we're up $2,147 with 1 contract. And that's over 9 business days. We're averaging $238 per contract per morning session. So that's $238 for about 1 hour's worth of trading each day. On the year now, we're at $102,242. That's over 236 business days. And I'm averaging $103 per contract per morning session. So that's about $433 per hour on the year. That's with one contract, right? With one contract. Now, if you work your way up and you're trading multiple contracts, you work your way up one contract per month, and you quit trading when you've gotten your goal for the day. So far, you could be averaging $2,423 per hour. So that's the difference between staying at one contract, $433 per hour, and working your way up to multiple contracts, $2,423 per hour, right? Big difference. All right, so let's get into the trades. Now it's 12:55. It's good ways to go through because we don't have a lot of time. But we'll start out right here. This is not supposed to be that. That's supposed to be crude oil. Go back to crude and the F contract on the crude. All right, so we had there on crude, and we had a +1 tick on this one right here on crude, and that was all that we did. See the blue arrows. If you started early, the blue arrows right there, worked out pretty well. This was going right into a weekly trading zone, so we didn't want to do anything with that one. Then we only had one more right here during the break, and that didn't do anything. All right, so there had not been a lot of opportunity today. We did have crude inventories come out today right here. It didn't really have much of an impact at all on the markets. What was crude? So is the next one, and let's pull it back here. Here we go. All right, we didn't trade the Russell at all today. I'm not sure why. I can look at it with you. Just show you the blue arrows on there. That one didn't work out at all. And that's it. We had one blue arrow today on the Russell. There was not much to go through today at all with the Russell. We didn't trade it at all because it was on. It's on the gold. We can look at. We did place trade here on gold. Here. Somewhere in here. All right, well, I'm not exactly sure where it was on. Oh, it's right here. We took this trade right here on gold and picked up 5 ticks on that one. All right, when I was looking at a larger time frame, I think I had drawn this down here in a larger time frame, like a daily chart or something like that, maybe a weekly chart. The gold should pull back too. But we really didn't have that much going on today. We had one blue arrow back here right at the open, and I didn't get that. And we had this green arrow right here that we did take advantage of. This right here is what I was looking at to complete the leg that had to get down to here, and it was suggesting it was going to go down to here, but it was also suggesting it was going to get up here to 95.0. So it went up to 95 and then went sideways some more. In the lesson plan this morning, I was going over how this was the range we were stuck in right here, and once it got up above this level, it was probably going to change direction, and it did do all that. It did take advantage of that once it did break through on the upside. But there really hasn't been much going on with that either. We didn't trade the E, and we'll trade the YM. I didn't never had the NQ open at all today. On the YM, it started out right here. Our very first trade on the YM right in, he took a short there, and we picked up 10 ticks on that. We could have had all 20 on that, but we didn't get it. It pulled back and gave us another one right here, and we got 9 on that. But I missed it. I took this one here, right, and I bumped my stop to. I actually took the 2 ticks that I needed in there, but I didn't show it to anybody, so I didn't count that. Over here, I took a break even, and then I stopped out on this one. It was 1 tick away from getting the goal for the day, and I did get it there, but I didn't show anybody, so I didn't count it. I took a break even on that one, and out on that one. And that was it. Since then, right here, we had the blue arrow right here, but there was no reason to trade flat, completely flat. I'm surprised that the no trade didn't cover that. Should have. I was looking at this. Just make sure. It looks like it is, but it should have been. It should have been. You'd think it would have covered up that flat spot right there. Anyway, once it broke out of there, it gave this green arrow, which we didn't take. We wanted to separate like this. And I was showing in here, this was during the lesson plan here, I was showing how we'd have to draw data line in DT Pro and NinjaTrader. That's what this slingshot is down here for, to illustrate the differences between the slingshots in DT Pro and NinjaTrader. For those of you guys who don't know, since then it just went really sideways and not a whole lot happening, right? And that was it with YM. So I want to see who's in here right now. And because I just got out of a meeting with a couple of people, and I'm just curious. Now, we have, yeah, that's it. That's all we have. It's 1 o'clock, so I'm going to jump into the live stream. We're going to start, and we'll get into that. All right. Should be. And there it is. Okay, so the live stream has just begun. So for those of you guys that are watching in the live stream, anybody that's watching live stream, right, or that logs in after the fact, we have FOMC coming up here in 1 hour. So I don't expect we're going to have much to do here during this half-hour session. So I'll do my best to keep you entertained. Gonna look. Sorry. Go here and look at this. This was something I was just looking at when I was in a meeting a few minutes ago. It is a head and shoulder pattern. This being the head, this being one shoulder, this being the other shoulder. Now with shoulder patterns, but it's good to know that they're there. When you now, this is the other foundation right here. Is the other shoulder build. So in any consolidation, this is on a 5-minute chart menu. In any consolidation, you're still going to be looking for the same thing. You're going to be looking for the trend to continue. And if the trend does not continue, we're just going to go sideways and not have any trades. When it breaks out, it breaks the neckline, which is right about here. It breaks this neckline, which is right about here. Then we'll probably start getting trades on the way down. And where should it go down to? Well, it should go to right about here. Right? That's what it looks like to me. Now, if it is out there in live stream and you want to see any other stock symbols or anything like that, just type in what you want to see. Okay, we'll be happy to look at them. But this is something that I was just looking at with the person who's on the trial right now, and we want to see down below and then get through us down that level right there. All right. So over here now on the crude, we just put in a lower swing. We want to see that pull back up and bounce off the ribbon. Over here on the Russell, we had a green arrow here. Now you can't trade short again at a lower swing after the green arrow. We don't have that yet. We're just going sideways. After this green arrow, it needs to put in a higher swing. And over here on the YM, we did put in the green arrow here and get a lower swing. So we could trade short again, but we just don't have a short trade setting up. Okay. This Delta Airlines on a 5-minute chart. You could short it here if you want to from this. It should make it down to this level right here, anyway, down to 40. If that's what you want to do. That's the idea. What was I thinking? Oh, Daryl's not in here. I'm meeting Daryl at 2 o'clock. All right. So what we have here is this. We don't have anything going on that you can trade right now. Closest thing we have now, you see over here on the Russell just put in a lower swing. So we have the crude and potentially the Russell giving us a trade opportunity. Now my trading platform, I can't do the Russell right now. The stuff on the CME, well, I might be able to. I don't know. I haven't looked at it in a little while, but when they sent out a message this morning, not to trade stuff on the CME or to be cautious about trading on the CME. That was enough for me to not want to trade anything on the CME. So let me just close that. That's actually, let's go in here and go to indices and the Russell, and you got to make sure you're on the right contract. We rolled to the H contract. Yeah, the Russell's looking okay now. I don't know what it was looking like earlier, but we rolled to the H contract yesterday. Okay, and so over here, this on the delta right here, that green arrow short that I suggested, it's going to get down to here to 40 is what it should get down to. It has some buying pressure right here, but once we break through that, 40 is the next level down, and then below that, look all the way down here. If it breaks this neckline here at 40, that means it closes down below this neckline at 40. Then you have all the way down here to 39. That should go. All right. So the Russell did put in a lower swing. We need that to pull back up. The crude oil, it's also got a lower swing over there. Gold, you see how the long-term direction was bullish right here, and now trade below the BBC, and it's starting to get bearish. The YM also going sideways right here. The long-term direction is completely flat. We don't have anything that we can do with that one right now. Okay. Yeah. So that's what we're waiting on. Does anybody have anything they want to cover? Any other symbols? Anything like that? I am open to anything. Just getting started with this half-hour session, so we have plenty of time to look at anything you might want to look at. What's the Bitcoin doing today? How does that react with OMC? I never really paid attention to that. This is on a 5-minute chart. Let's get it on the daily. Oops. Okay, so it's doing kind of what we said it was going to do last week. Come back down to here and bounce off of this, and the leg length that it should get up to should be up here to 47. And I was saying it'll probably give you a wick that might even go all the way up to 50. But this is what it's looking like. Look, we got a big blue arrow here on the daily chart. How nice is that? So those of you guys that were here last week when we thought this was going to happen, and we said this is likely to happen, it pulled back down here, hit that, and it's bouncing off of that now, and I suspect it's going to get up to 48,000 soon.
Red and falling is at 44,000 right now.
Right here. Yep, it's right about where the bodies are right here. It's where the bodies are buried right there. The bodies end right there at the red and falling. And then you just have some wicks up above it. But the way that this will probably play out, it'll do this leg length, it'll finish this leg length and work its way up to here, and then maybe pull back again. If it does what it normally seems to do, it's gonna have so much momentum when it gets up to the end of the leg length, it's probably gonna push up just a little bit further. You know, I think that's kind of what happened before. Right? Yeah, you got just a little bit up above it. See, the bodies ended right here. You got the wicks that went up above another 1,000. From 44 all the way up to 4, which about.
It's got to overcome that step line as well. That's potential resistance on the way up to the red and falling. Potential resistance.
There it is. Right there. So it'll be interesting, you know, in an hour when the FOMC comes out, then when the statement comes out, it'll be interesting what's going to happen at that point, you know, with the Bitcoin. I never really watched it when the FOMC comes out, but I guess you could see it last month. It was, isn't this where the last FOMC was right here? So we'll see. I never really paid that much attention to it. Do you have any idea? Anybody else pay attention to it when FOMC comes out? I know what I feel as far as if I were going to buy some options right now, I'd be buying calls on the Bitcoin. Expecting to get up here.
I've never really looked at it in relation to the FOMC, but since you brought it up, I will do that today.
Yeah, I think it'd be interesting study. Go back to every FOMC day and see what happened. Especially because this is, it's not on a expiring thing, right? It's Bitcoin, so it's not like December Bitcoin. It's forever Bitcoin.
Never sleeps.
Right. Never rolls over.
Guess what? That's what they call a perpetual
it
market.
does. It does. Perpetual. It does have, though. Now, it's funny when I
There's
just
a
lost that
halving
connection
coming
right
in
there.
April.
I also lost your audio. Yeah. Yep. So we'll see what happens with that. The last time it happened, that was what, a few years ago, right?
I forget when the last halving was. But we also have 13 major institutions with a spot Bitcoin ETF on the desk of the SEC. And there's supposed to be an answer from Gary Gensler by January 10th. We're talking the big dogs like BlackRock, Fidelity, all the big names have in an application for a spot Bitcoin ETF because most of the population are more comfortable buying shares of something as opposed to buying something they don't really understand, like Bitcoin and the blockchain and all that.
Right, right. Well, so right here, 69.31 right now. Subtract 8 from that, you'd be looking to sell 69.23 on crude. All right. Now, this is what it looks like on a daily chart. So the daily chart is looking pretty bullish, but if you break that down to like a 30-minute chart, that should, I'm thinking it should probably be pretty bullish too, right? Yeah, it kind of does. It's time for a pullback here on the 30-minute chart, but time for a pullback on the 30-minute chart. But it's still pretty bullish right here. I'd expect a pullback and then a bounce. We're doing leg lengths here on the 30-minute chart. Right here, yeah. So that would suggest, yep, right down to here, the 1,582, basically right there. And this would be your leg length. So if we do get that pullback down here to the B, then this is what it looks like on the upside. And that would be up to like 43 on this time frame. Now, if we bump that back out to the day, this is what that looks like for today on the daily. Okay, if it drops down to the BBC, which is already done on the daily, but within this candle right here, all that would happen on the 30-minute within this candle. And that candle would then end right up about here, about halfway up this candle and halfway up this move right here. Now, I don't know what's going to happen, but I do know that it looks like it's pretty bullish from right here from a daily perspective. It's bearish from the immediate 30-minute perspective. It's bearish right now, but it's going to be bullish overall on the 30-minute. We did make it up above this level here, so we have higher highs and higher lows. If you were to draw the trend line up the bottoms like this, trend line would go a little bit underneath this leg length right here, so it would be a little bit underneath the BBC. But we'll see what happens when it all comes together.
What you got on the weekly?
That's what it looks like to me. On the week, let's go look. Let's go investigate. Okay, on the weekly, earlier I thought, yeah, on the weekly, on this big blue one in here that we drew a little while ago. On the weekly, we're breaking up above these highs right here. You got to look to see where it's going to go. And look, it's right here. You see that on the weekly? Right at the top of that leg length. Whoa. It's right at the top of the leg length over here. Okay. And that is what we're looking at.
And you've got that bearish cross at about 52,000.
Bearish cross of MA1 over BBC. Yeah, right here.
Back in 2022.
What is this?
Yeah, back in 2022.
Oh, you're talking way over here.
Yeah, right there.
Yeah.
That's
there.
That should be
That's
pretty good resistance when price gets there. And this is all
Yep.
technical,
And that,
guys. This doesn't have anything to do with any kind of fundamentals. This is just purely technical.
yes. Yes. And that fellow that I talked to during the break, Joseph, you know, he was talking about artificial intelligence, and you know, artificial intelligence, it has nothing without the past. You can't. Artificial intelligence has nothing without the past. And technical analysis is the same stuff. Everything's based on the past. You can make assumptions about what's going to happen in the future, predictions, projections, whatever you want to call it, about what's going to happen in the future based on what happened in the past. What you think about the past.
A coin flip, you're right,
You know,
half
I
the
can
time.
say in the future. Yeah, you are. I mean, I can say in the future, I bet you right now that Bitcoin sometime in the future is going to go over 60,000 again. And that's going to be a fairly accurate statement for me to just throw that out there and say Bitcoin will be over 60,000 again at some point in the future. That's artificial intelligence for you right there. I can say that it's going to happen. I can't tell you when. I can say that it's going to happen.
And there'll be guys pounding their chest. You know, on this day I predicted Bitcoin would get back over 60,000, and look, it's happened. Well,
Yep.
It's inevitable. I mean, the fact that he said it 18 months ago, he doesn't talk about that part. You know. So anyway.
Yeah. You know, there are people that say there's another dimension that you can look at, and that be the time dimension, along with price action and the satellites and the stars and the way the moon is. And
oh yeah, there's that one guy read the stars and not the bars. Yeah, that's
something like that. Yeah,
way out of my wheelhouse.
I think he got put out of business. I think he's one of those guys who got put out of business. The NFA came sniffing around, I think. Anyway, we just trade what's in front of us, and all the analysis that we do is based. Oh, we do. Hey, we do. And it's somebody I haven't seen before. LTC USD. Okay. Like LTC USD. It's crypto. Okay. Flash USD or just USD? That's the USD. Yeah. Here. Okay, this is on a weekly, so you want to check that on what time frame? Do you want to check that on? 30-minute, 5-minute. 5-minute, 1 minute, 30-second range bar. I like to do range bars myself, and this one's it's not priced that high, so range bars are pretty easy to do with this. We'll do a 25 range bar, which means every bar is 25 cents. Okay, and what it looks like right now from a daily perspective, not a daily perspective, but from an intraday perspective, we had an opportunity to buy it back here. Another opportunity exists right here to buy it. What it should do is get up above this level right here, above 72.94. I don't know if that's what you're looking for. That kind of a time frame you're looking for. You know, our highest probability trades are going to be the blue arrows. The second highest probability going to be the green arrows. Okay, that's what Litecoin looks like right now. And that's on the 25 range. Each one of these bars is 25 cents. If you want to look at it on a bigger time frame, make each one of those bars say $1. Then this is what it's looking like on a large time frame like this. You have another hidden shoulder pattern. This is the head, this is the shoulder, and this is the other shoulder here, but it doesn't go down that far below the neckline. It's looking a little bit bearish right here on this time frame, but not too bearish because you had your one opportunity back here, the barrel short, and it didn't really put in a much lower swing right there. Okay, it didn't really put in a much lower swing, so this is questionable what it's doing over here. But if it is in fact building the other shoulder, and you have a shoulder pattern, that's just going to consolidate sideways for a little while. Okay, and that's probably what it's doing right now, is stuck in consolidation. On this time frame, it's stuck in consolidation. You know, if you drop it down to a smaller time frame, you can trade it in a smaller time frame. If you go to a larger time frame, I'm sure, like in this time frame, every bar is $10. So that's a huge time frame for this priced security. Okay, or crypto. Every bar is $10. And this is looking pretty bearish too. It's looking like it's going to go down to here, down to 58 from where it is right now, right? In a much larger time frame. So, tell me what time frame. I just did about 4 or 5 of them for you. I'm happy to give you analysis on whatever time frame you're comfortable trading in. The difference in all this is the risk. You know, I can tell you what it looks like on any time frame you want, but the difference is which me you're playing with. And like a 25 range where every bar is a quarter, you know, your risk is only going to be, you know, if you went long right here on a quarter, your risk can be 40 cents, 40, 45 cents. Your risk can be right down here. This would be where your stop would be. And when it moves this far, that's like a whole bar length. You're up a quarter right there. You'd be trailing your stop right now. You'd probably be trailing your stop, locking in profit at this point, expecting it to get up above this level. Okay, that's in this time frame, right? Your first indication would have been back here to go long back here at 6:49, a little before 7. This one would have been a go long right there. And that was at 71 and a quarter, we'll say. And it ran up to 70, almost 73. So you had a buck, you know, buck and a half, easy right there. That's on a smaller time frame. Okay, on a larger time frame, this is a pullback and a move down. Right here, this whole thing right here is a pullback and a move down in a larger time. You know, if you crunch all this up, you can see it right here. This is your downtrend, and this is a pullback in the downtrend there. Okay. All right. So any other questions? Anybody? Strumika. Do you want to see anything else? Over here, we did get the pullback in the test of the ribbon here with the green arrow short on the crude. I don't think I had anything waiting over there, so I did not get into that. Here on the Russell, we're in a weekly trading zone. We have to pull back or get down below the zone, probably is what we're looking for. But it's 122. We have FOMC coming up here in half an hour roughly, so we're probably not going to get that much movement here. But I'm happy to do analysis on any other symbols if you have any other symbols you want to look at. Was that other one from the other day? Affirm. That was a stock. Yeah, we didn't want to trade it the other day. Still don't want to trade it. How about Tesla? Let's see what that's doing today. Let me glance over here. Tesla has had a pretty big down day, it looks like. You can't really see it here on the 25 run trade there, but you can see it over here. This big move down right in here. That was huge. With every bar again being a quarter in here. And Tesla dropped right here. You had your green arrow short right there from all the way at 232. It dropped all the way down to a low, all the way down here to 228. That's a pretty big drop.
Elon put out a statement that Elon put out a statement to the FBI. He said, "You can arrest me and put me in prison, but I will not manipulate the tweets, I guess you still call them, the way you asked the former Twitter to manipulate political stuff heading into the 2020 election. He goes, I'm telling you now, I won't do it. So if you want to put me in jail, you can. I'm just not going to do it. So we'll see.
See, and if only they can get that kind of commitment from the other guy, the Facebook guy.
Yeah, I don't think we will.
No, I don't think so either.
I don't think he has the same backbone.
No, I don't think so either. And he's well, I don't want to get into it. Start politics talking. Yeah, speaking of that, I'm looking over here and I see Meta over here on another screen. It's getting killed right now. Let's just look at that. That'll make me smile.
In Zuck's defense, when he was asked before Congress, did the FBI ask you to manipulate the data at the last political election? He said, yeah, they did. He goes, and I complied because I didn't want to go to jail. So that may be right there the difference between the two. So we'll see.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. I guess, yeah. They probably have a very convincing way of giving the options. Do what we say at prison time. Yeah, make sure you go to the worst prison. All that kind of business, you know. I don't know if it's anything like you see on TV. I'm sure it's pretty ugly, though. It's got to be pretty ugly.
I don't think they can send him to outer Siberia, but they could definitely make his life difficult.
Yeah.
You know, somebody with that much money, it's got to cross your mind at least once a day. I got all this money. Why do I need all this aggravation?
Oh, I know. That's what I'd be saying.
I can go just lay on the beach, but I guess he's probably laid on the beach enough and realizes that the way he's wired, he needs to be doing something. He needs to be doing like 10 things at one time, it seems. So, you know, there's more to life than money.
Yeah.
As Richard Pryor said, I've had money and I've not had money, and having money is definitely better. So.
Well, we have about 3 minutes left in here. We haven't had a single trade yet. The trigger was over here on the crude, right? And the one thing that I was looking here at was Delta Airlines from that meeting that I was in earlier. And I was saying, look for that. It did get down below there. It did get down to 40 when it broke down. Now, if it breaks down below this level, everything that I was just saying a few minutes ago, it wasn't on the 25 range that we were looking at this. It was on a 5-minute, but still, it's the same thing. If it breaks down below this level, this is the neckline. It's important that it holds here. If it doesn't hold there, then this is the level down. All right. Now, he said he was going to be listening to us on YouTube. I don't know if he actually is listening to us on YouTube. There's another Joseph that's in here right now. But anyway, I don't have the ES up, but I will give you my 30-minute analysis of the ES. You usually ask for this. If I can't get my H contract to load up, so I can't really give it to you here, but I can give it to you here. Right, I think this one was the ES context. Oh, sorry, that was the NQ context. This one over here was the ES context. That's got the ES weekly trading zones in it. It should be 0.35. Yeah, 0.35. And put it on the ES. H. And 30-minute. Okay, so this should have the weekly trade zones. There it is. Okay, so it does have the weekly trade zones. The midpoint's right here. So knowing that we have FOMC coming up yet again, I drew this in here yesterday. You guys may or may not remember me drawing this in here yesterday, and I said make it out of this triangle. This is the leg length right here, and look where it went, right up to the top of that leg length. I don't know if you guys remember me saying that yesterday. I drew this yesterday, and you see it's gotten all the way up there. When we broke out of the top of the triangle, we went all the way up to the end of that leg length. And now we're right back in this junk right here. When it breaks out of the junk, this is still the leg length, okay? This is still the leg length. So if it's going to be bullish, let me just clone this. If it's bullish, this is what you're looking at. When we have the FOMC come out, do we have another zone up there above that? I don't think we do we? No, we do not. Okay. Well, this is what it's looking at right now. If it's going to be bullish, the upside.
The highest weekly zone is 47.18/19.
Yep, that's it right there. Conversely,
and
if it's going to be
on the based off the daily, we've got major resistance on the way to the July 27th high. So,
and this is up here at 47.39. What does that look like on let's look at that on a daily. I'm running out of time here. I got another meeting coming up too. Yeah, okay, there it was right back here.
See that July 27th high here, right there. Boom.
Yep, right there.
Wait.
Right there. And
what does that say? The 20 should say the 27th.
Right here it says 27
okay,
July.
Yeah.
It actually says 27 July 23.
Yeah.
2023.
That's right.
And that lines up great with this leg length. It's just right there too. Right?
And that black line that you've got right there. Okay.
This one right here is a weekly trading zone. Yep. That's the weekly trading zone.
Yep. And that line's right up with those. That's that major resistance I was talking about. Because you had 3 candles that put in a high. 3 daily candles right there. Boom. Yep.
Yep.
So we'll see. But
so
once the Fed comes out, it's going to go all.
It's
going to be all over the place.
This is what it's looking like to me, though. In this, I wish I knew how to draw a rectangle in here, but I don't. What's this thing do? Nope. What's this thing do? Hey, yeah, kind of. There it is, a rectangle. This right here is the FOMC range. Now, after the FOMC comes out today, if it's going to go up, this will be the top. If it's going to go down, this will be what I'd be looking for a bottom. As you continue to go sideways right here, that's what I'd be considering as the FOMC comes out. Now, we'll see what this looks like tomorrow when we get back in here tomorrow. I'll save this right and see what this looks like tomorrow when we get back in here. But
I think that's a pretty good analysis right there.
And we could actually hit both of those things using this leg length that was established, earlier this week. This yesterday was the perfect analysis right there, and I think that's something to consider. Okay. All right. So with everybody that's watching the live stream, if you have not taken a free trial with us and you want to, if you like what you see, you want to take a free trial here at mytradingiq.com. Right here, sign up for the free trial. I ran over my time. Sorry about that. Go here to mytradingiq.com, sign up for the free trial right here, and come on. Why is this taking so long? Anyway, go here, click on this button right here. When you click on that, you can be brought to this registration page. This tab suspender thing that I have going is kind of a pain in the neck sometimes. But go to this registration page, and on this page, all we ask for is your name, your phone number, and your email. Fill that out, giving you a user space in there to give us your TradingView username once it opens up. Space in there to give us your TradingView username. You can do that as well. Right, and we'll enable your indicators for you right away. Okay. All right, that is it. With that, we can pass it back out to fabulous Phoenix, Arizona, and Studio A, Old South Mountain, America's largest city. If you are ready.
Yeah, I'm ready. Okay, recap of the morning session.
today it took 37 minutes and 4 trades to get $1,260.
Great job.
Thank you.
Okay, guys, we made it through all of the different markets, all of the different CTA targets. If you missed the first part of the broadcast, about an hour from now, you can go to youtube.com/CFRN, watch it all in its entirety. We went through every one of these markets individually. So this is where I've got that next major resistance pegged. Now, some would probably go, oh, okay, because that's where the highest weekly trading zone has nothing to do with this, okay? It's structured. The way the weekly trading zones are done, it's a completely different formula. And the good part of that is when you have two completely different methodologies, strategies, formulas, whatever, that point to the same price or area, that's powerful. Okay, so keep that in mind. We got the perfect stack, but we're off the high of the day. Very small body, very small candle compared to the previous 1, 2, 3, 4 days. Even when we were stuck in this range, we had some pretty good sized days. Now it just turned red. So if we start pulling back, we could find support at the step line, blue and climbing. And now the BBC has risen to the bottom of that range. So could price be headed back there? Yeah, it could. To become a lifetime member, go to mytradingiq.com. If you have any questions, call us at 949-42-EMINI. Email us support@cfrn.net. Now the passport, that is your all-access pass to everything we do, everything we've ever done, and anything new we do in the future. Now get this part, with no recurring fees, no upsells, no nonsense, ever. Pay once for lifetime membership. Everything we do, everything we've ever done, whatever we do in the future. 9 out of 10 new traders fail simply because they don't have someone to teach them how to trade. That's why we put so much emphasis on our live training room every day from 9:15 to 11:30 a.m. Eastern. It's an interactive environment. You're trading along in your demo account as you learn the strategy. You're asking questions, getting answers. Before you know it, you got the hang of it. Because our strategy is so simple, there's only so many questions you can ask. And whatever question you ask has been asked 100 times before, and the answer is always the same. That should really give you a sense of comfort. Now, along with being able to access the live training room for life, as a passport holder, you have access to unlimited one-on-one private mentoring. Strategy you learn, the indicators you own for life as a passport holder, are fluid across all markets and all time frames. Futures, stocks, crypto, forex, ETFs. Whether you're a short-term trader, day trader, or an investor, price flows the same across all markets and all time frames. So you don't have to run out and buy 1,000 different things. Right here, you have everything a trader needs, all under one roof at one low price. And you have around-the-clock support via Telegram. mytradingiq.com 949-42 Emini is the phone number. support@cfrn.net. It's where you can email any questions. Okay. So let's wrap this up with our good word for the day. Yesterday we talked about the fact that you must take responsibility for your own life. Today, God is in control. Trust Him. Psalm 39:7. My hope is in you. Life seldom works out exactly the way we hope or think it will. When Job lost everything, he said, I don't have the strength to endure. I have nothing to live for. I am utterly helpless without any chance of success. That's Job 6:11 through 13. Yet in the end, Job got back twice as much as he had lost. But the experiences and adversities he had gone through changed his attitude towards God profoundly. In Job 42, verses 2 through 5, we read, I know that you can do all things. No purpose of yours can be thwarted. My ears have heard of you, but now my eyes have seen you. What had Job discovered? That God is sovereign. He is not our servant. We are His servants. We must obey His word in order to walk in His blessing. But the final outcome of all things rests in His hands, not ours. Many of us struggle with control. We want control not only over our circumstances, but our goals, plans, relationships, and all that concerns us. Such fear is often an indication of an unconscious desire to be independent of God, to be the master of our own destiny. Sometimes it's the result of growing up in a chaotic environment and resolving never to repeat the experiences of your earlier life. Perhaps you think you're in control of your life due to your educational, financial, or other achievements. It isn't true. God enabled you to do everything that you have done. Paul writes in 1 Corinthians 15:10, But whatever I am now, it is all because God poured out His special favor on me. Today and tomorrow, God is in control. Trust Him. That's our good word for today. Thanks so much for tuning in. Whoever you are, wherever you are, may God continue to richly bless you with His mercy and with His grace. And I'll see you at the bell.
Remember this, there is no greater return on investment than to see a human life changed and given hope. As always, pray hard and trade safe. Any financial information discussed on this show is simply the opinion of our host, Dwayne Reeves, his co-hosts, and guests. To learn more about trading E-mini futures or to take a 1-week free trial in our live trading room, call 1-866-928-3310. 866-928-3310. Information discussed on this radio program should not be construed as a recommendation to buy or sell any security. Always do your own due diligence and consult with a licensed securities broker or financial planner before making any investment decision.